Hello, church. So here is our daily devotional for Tuesday, May 12th. I'm going to be carrying a little bit of a smirk on my face. So we are going to now step into another piece of wisdom literature, and it is the following book in our Bibles, which is the book of Ecclesiastes. Couple of side notes. One, I introduced this as the first portion of the reading at our trustees meeting last night. I also shared with them that I have in that other context shared that I find Ecclesiastes to be one of the most depressing books of the Bible. So this is going to be intriguing. The repeated phrases that you're going to hear in this book in the NRSV is vanity of vanities and all is vanity. Peterson in the Message likes to use smoke and spitting in the wind. And so there's this deep search for meaning and walking through things. And we will find out how much trouble that I will get into. I was debating flipping over to the book of Ruth, which I think is 4 chapters and a fairly brief one, because of Raymond Van Leeuwen's reference that in Hebrew Bibles, very often it is the book of Ruth that follows after Proverbs. And especially coming off of the conclusion of Proverbs with the hymn to a noble wife or a wife of good character. That makes a heck of a lot of sense. And Ruth is a really neat story and a good piece of Old Testament for us to have and to explore in our wheelbase. But the introduction from the New Interpreter's Bible was just a little too much fun for me to not do that. So we'll work ourselves around a little bit. So having completed Proverbs, we now come into a new scholar. This is the late W. Sibley Towner, who was in Virginia at, I think, Union Theological Seminary, and passed away in 2018. Today, we're just going to do his introductory portion. I'm going to give you kind of the first 2 paragraphs because in his final one, he does get into a lot of the scholarship and the philology and words of study and all that sort of stuff. Ecclesiastes has always had its fan among the original thinkers of the Jewish and Christian communities. Skeptics, people with a dark vision of reality, recovering alcoholics. The rest of us know and love some of its individual epigrams and its more lyrical passages. Paul's there. Most famously, Ecclesiastes is known for there is a time for every season, which was a song by the Turn, Turn, Turn was the song by the Byrds, I believe. On the whole, however, believers have found it at least baffling and at most wrong-headed. From the beginning, serious efforts were made to exclude it from the list of sacred books. And even now, in liturgical practice, in worship practice, it enjoys only a very small place. The Revised Common Lectionary would have us read Ecclesiastes 3, 1-13 every New Year's Day, not a day for much pious observance, except when it falls on Sunday, and offers Ecclesiastes 1, verse 2, 12-14, and chapter 2, 18-23, as the Old Testament alternative to Hosea 11, 1-11, on proper 13 and cycle C. That's it. Theoretically, its place in Jewish liturgical practice is greater because it is one of the 5 scrolls that are read during festivals. The book of Ecclesiastes is to be read in its entirety during the Feast of Sukkot, English word tabernacles. And I apologize for any pronunciation. It's Sukkot. Should have just gone with tabernacles, and however you say that. But the number of worshipers who will sit still to hear all 12 chapters through, or even in modern synagogues will have the opportunity to do so, is surely small. Frequently, this book excites talk about its partial grasp of the truth, its need for fulfillment, and its function as the dark background against which the light of the gospel shines forth. All dismissive talk about the book of Ecclesiastes is banned from the following pages. This commentary has been written in the conviction that we need to hear the author of Ecclesiastes out. Time and time again, one is driven to admit the truth of what Ecclesiastes has to say, even though one might not want to hear it. Here is the most real of the realest of sacred writers. Here is the Hebrew writer least comfortable with conventional wisdom and the most willing to challenge unexamined assumptions. No faith can survive long that is founded on the slippery slope of conceptually muddled piety. And in Kahalet, which is a word we'll be talking about and that you will hear used in relation to Ecclesiastes, God has given us a tonic for our biblical faith. He's going to be getting more in depth into that whole Kahalet and Ecclesiastes thing. We'll cover part of that tomorrow as we get started on that book. We're going to let that introductory portion be our lead in. So buckle up. We will find out what we will get into, and look forward to some new learnings and sharing with you in that journey. Catch you tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.